Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rapise 7.0 webinar. In today's webinar, we'll talk about new features and enhancements of Rapise 7. My name is Denis, and I'm one of developers of Rapise test automation platform. If you are using Rapise already, you definitely know me. For those who is attending our webinars for the first time, here is my brief bio. Okay, let's begin. Rapise 7.0. At this point, I will stop sharing my webcam to save some screen space. Okay, so here is the link to Rapise 7 full list of enhancements and release notes. So we can open it using a web browser. So if we will go to rapisedoc.inflectra.com and release notes section, here you will see the full list of enhancements, and some of them will be covered in this webinar. So I'm going to talk about new Spire Dashboard that we added in Rapise 7. This is the major and the main enhancement in this version of Rapise. Spire Dashboard is a tighter integration with Spira, so it should make test management easier. Also, we will talk about soft assertions and the way how to attach some test results to Rapise test runs. So if you want to see them in Spira. So let's start with Spire Dashboard 2.0. So what has changed? So we rebuilt Spire Dashboard from scratch, and it has new responsive UI. And besides the features that you expect to see there, features that you probably used in the older version of Spire Dashboard, new dashboard offers support for Flaky tests and also automatic rerun of test cases inside the test set. So I'm going to do a demonstration of new features, and to do that, I will create a sample framework, and I will use it to demonstrate new features of Spire Dashboard. So let's minimize this, and here is Rapise, and I'm going to create a new test. The test framework itself will be pretty simple, but what is interesting is how we will use Spire Dashboard. So first, as usual for the framework, I will create the main test, the parent test, and I will name it Calc testing. So it will be a framework to test Windows calculator. So choosing desktop, choosing RVL, and I now have the parent test. So next, I want to copy the calculator executable into my framework. So to do this, I will reveal my framework in Explorer. I'll go to desktop. Here I have a calc.exe file. So copy and paste it into my framework. Okay, so I did some preparation, and I will add calc.exe to the files view. So choosing all files, calc.exe. Here we go. We now have this executable in our framework. So when we will save our framework to Spira, executable file application under test will be saved to Spira as well. So the next thing, I'm going to implement test init and test finish for all my test cases in this framework. So as usual, I go to my user.js file. It will be a file shared between all the subtests in my testing framework. So the first function I'm going to add will be test init. And here we will launch our calculator. So every test case will be launching a calculator. And every test case, no matter what, should close calculator. So I'm adding test finish function here. And I will close the calculator here. To do that, I will do global do kill by bit. So no parameters. It means that the last opened application opened by Rapise will be closed with this command. So we can quickly test it. Let's play this test. Calculator started. Okay, something didn't work. It means that I did some typo. Yeah, it should be capital D. Let's replay it again. Yeah, now it works, and I will close calculator from the previous run. Let's now go to the template. Anyway, we created our first test, and now I will switch to Spire Dashboard. So here it is. When you will open Spire Dashboard, if it is not opening by default on your machine, you can go to View Spire Dashboard, and it will open on the Spire Dashboard main page. Here you will see the framework view. You will see your parent test and all the subtests here. And if you are using many projects in Spira, you have a choice to select the project that you need. So I will explain the other links here a little bit later. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create a template for my framework, and I will create the subtest. So it will be TC template. It will have its own set of objects, and it will reuse user.js file from the parent test. Here we go, and I will use REL. It will be our template, and what I want from the template is to print the name of the test into report. In Rapise 7, we now have tester get test name, and I'm going to print it to the report. So variable last result. We can quickly test our template. So calculator launched, here is the name of the test, and calculator closed. Okay, if you will switch to Spire Dashboard, now you can see that TC template is here. And now I'm going to create a couple of test cases, but I won't be implementing them. So the first test case will be, I will clone my template. It will be TC add to test plus and addition and subtraction of digits, and the other one will be TC multiply. Okay, and in the dashboard view, you may see some icons. This icon that is looking like a database or repository means that this test uses its own object repository. And this one, like a code tag, means that this test is using its own user.js file. So since our dashboards, our subtests are not do not have own user.js files, they do not have this icon. So it means that they all share user.js file from the parent test. Okay, so what's next? I'm going to create test cases, and I can do this now right from the dashboard. For this, I'm going to test cases. So just clicking test cases link on the toolbar in the dashboard, and here is the new test case button. And here I will create 3 test cases. The one for Hulk testing, the test case I'll use to create the repository in Spira. And I will create 2 test cases for my TC add and TC multiply. All right from the dashboard. TC multiply. Now we have 3 test cases. So next, I'm going to create an automation host right from the dashboard again. So I'm going to the list of automation hosts in this project, and I don't have any. But if I will go to Spire test settings, I can see that I already assigned some token to this machine nightly, and I'm going to create an automation host with this token in the Spire Dashboard project. So I can do this right from here, and I will create another one for remote execution of my test cases. This is the host we are using to run our regular tests for Rapise. So I will use it later to execute my test cases. Here we go, and you may see that the automation host assigned to this machine is highlighted with bold font. So nightly is the current host. So next, I'm going to create a test set. And what I forgot to do is to save my tests into Spire. So I'll return to dashboard page. And first, as usual, when we are saving the framework into Spire, we need to save the parent test. So here is the action column. It is can be found in many grids in the new dashboard, and it has some additional actions that you can do. And here I'm going to link it to test case. And I will choose Hulk testing, and I will choose select. This is the analog for save to Spire button on the toolbar. So clicking OK. And the test framework is now uploaded to Spira. And the next thing to do is to link our real test cases to test cases in Spira. So I will do link to test case TC add. And nothing to upload actually. And the same as for TC multiply. Select. So now all my files are in Spira, and I can go and create a test set. So I go to test sets, link here, and selecting new test set button. So let it be Hulk testing. Here is the new test set created, and I'm going to add my test cases to this test set. I may expand it, and here I will see the list of test cases, if any, and I can add test cases right from this view. So add test cases, select the test cases I want to add with the check mark, and click in add. So now I have the test cases. And before I will start executing it, I will go to Spire Dashboard main page, and I'm going to click this button, Create Custom Properties for Rapise. The new dashboard needs some custom properties in some Spire artifacts for the test set, for test case, and test run. And you can create those properties manually, but the dashboard can do it automatically. So I'm clicking on this button, And to create custom properties, you need administrator privileges. So here I will use administrator username. So it should be, the account should be owner of this project. So paste in API key for administrator, hitting submit, and now all the required custom properties are added to test set and test cases. So we can quickly take a look at those properties. So go into test cases. If I will expand the test case, you may see that it now has a custom property Flaky, which is false by default. And the test set has many more properties. It already has properties that you may use to store your testing framework in Git, and some new properties like max rerun attempts and others. I will talk about them later. And some properties also added to test runs, but we don't have any at the moment. And now I'm going to execute my test set locally. So I can go to test sets view. Oh, this is my test set. Expand action and choose execute. So Rapise launches Rapise launcher, and it should execute our test set, TC multiply and TC add. And once execution is finished, Rapise launcher is closed automatically, and we can go to test runs. And in the test runs, we can see the new runs. All runs also have some details that we can expand with this plus icon. For each run, you can see here the report. And for each step, you can see the status. And also here you may see the attachments. So the execution log, the report in Rapise format, and the error log. And so this is the usual information that you typically see in Spire itself, but now you can view it right from Rapise. Okay, so let's now change a couple of parameters in our test set. So I will go to the test set, expand it. And for example, I want to increase verbosity level. So double clicking it here, let it be 3. And also I want to record videos during playback. So now if I will run my test set again, it should record the video of execution, and we should see more details in the log file. So tests running fast because they actually do nothing. The second one. Okay, now we can go to test runs. The last runs, I expand TC add, and these links are clickable. So I may click on summary log, and Rapise will open it in Spire. So it's a backlink to Spire. So clicking on it, Rapise opens browser. If you are logged into Spire, then you will see this file. So this is the log file. I can close this window, and here is the video recording. So we can open it with the media player and see the execution video. Okay, closing this browser. Also, it worth mentioning that in every grid that you can see here, the ID of a record of an item is a backlink to Spire. If you want to open a test case in Spire, you can click on this link and view the item in Spira. So to change some properties that you cannot change in the dashboard at the moment. Okay, closing it. So now I'm going to change TC add test case. So go into the dashboard, and I can open this test from the dashboard, TC add, and here I'm going to add some failing assertion. So I'm going to check that 2 plus 3 equals 5, but the assertion will be false. And I will save it to Spira. I may save to Spira from the toolbar, actually. The test saved successfully. Now in the dashboard, so imagine that we are running TC add many times, and sometimes it is passing, sometimes it is failing. And in this case, we may want to mark this test case as Flaky. So I'm going to test cases, expanding details for TC add test case. And by the way, this icon means that this test case is automated and some Rapise test is attached to this test case. And double click and marking this test case as Flaky. And when test case is marked as Flaky, you may see this red flag icon. So let's now run our test set again, but before that, I will change more parameters. So I will go to the test set, expand it, and I will change, now I will change these two things, max rerun attempts and do not rerun if M tests failed. And let me first explain to what does it mean. If a test case is failing, Rapise may run it again a few times, and this is how many times Rapise should rerun the test is controlled by this custom property. So let's rerun test 2 times if it is failing, and we will see the result. So if a test is passed, then it won't be executed again. So this may help you to troubleshoot Flaky tests and try to gather information sorry, to understand why this test is passing sometimes and when this test is failing. And this parameter means that, for example, a test may start failing because application is essentially broken or not installed or something like that. And if tests are failing, many tests are starting to fail, it means that something is essentially wrong, and probably it makes sense to stop doing rerun for tests. And here we may say that, for example, if 2 test cases failed after multiple reruns, then do not rerun all other test cases that are remaining in this test set. What I'm talking about is also explained in great details in the documentation. So if you will click on Spire Dashboard, here you will see everything that I'm showing you right now. Okay, let's now execute our test set. And you will see how Flaky flag is used to mark test runs. It is now running. Okay, I think it is finishing. Not yet. Oh, rerun is in progress. It's because tc-add is failing and Rapise is launching it again and again. We should see 2 rerun attempts for tc-add and no rerun attempts for tc-multiply because it is passing. Okay, go into test runs, and here we go. This is what we have. tc-multiply worked from the beginning and it passed, and this is tc-add. In the test run, we see this red flag. It means that we mark test case as Flaky, and probably we should ignore these failures. And those circles with numbers inside indicate rerun attempt for a test case. So this is the first run, this is the first rerun, this is the second rerun for the test case. Okay, so when we are running our test, by the way, important thing to show is that in the details column, you will see the first failing assertion in your test case. So it gives a clue why the test is failed. So you don't need to go into details to get some information about the reasons why the test case is failed. But if you need, then you may go inside the test run and analyze all the data. Okay, if I see that there is an error, I can go to Incidents tab here, and I may create an incident right from Rapise. tc-add is not working, and some steps how to reproduce. And now we have our incident. I may open it in Spira, and let's sign off other locations. And if I want, I may add additional information in Spira. For now, I executed my test set on this host that I'm showing you right now. But with the new dashboard, you have an option to execute your tests on remote hosts in your environment. So if I will go to test sets, I may now click on action and choose execute on host. Here I see the list of all automation hosts added to my project. And I may schedule immediate execution on another host. So I will click execute. For such an execution, Rapise creates a test set with the same name as your automation host. So if our automation host is AI10, then Rapise creates AI10 test set, automatically adds all the test cases from the original test set to this test set for execution on a remote host. What's not copied at the moment is the values of custom properties. So if you want to use the same custom properties values as in the original test, then you may change them here. And in the next run date column, we may see when execution of this test set is scheduled. I believe that this host is checking for new test sets to run every minute. So it means that shortly we should see some results. If we will go to pending test runs tab, we should see those pending test runs. Let's refresh our page completely. Okay, it's empty. Okay, it means that actually it is now in progress. So this is why it's not pending anymore. Oh, we are now can see some results already here in the test run. So it finished execution. This is why we did not see independent test runs. Let's schedule execution one more time. Execute on host, AI10, execute, go into pending test runs, and you may see that execution of TC add and TC multiply is pending, and we can see the host and we can see the schedule. And when it is running, we may see the test runs in progress here. So our test cases are now executed on AI10 host in this environment. So let's go to the test runs. And here we can see all the details of these test runs. Okay, so this is the new dashboard. We have a lot of plans how to enhance it in the future releases of Rapise. So we encourage you to try the new dashboard. We like to gather feedback if you see that some features are missing, then please share your opinion with us. So, and now I will proceed to the next part of this webinar, and I will talk about soft assertions. So in Rapise 7, we added 2 more actions for tester object. Those actions are soft assert and soft assert all. So let's see how they work. I will go to Spire Dashboard and let's switch to the main test. And let's create a new test case. And I will name it TC soft assert. And I'm going to open this test. And I will go to RVL. So what's soft assert? Soft assert is an assertion that does not fail immediately. So for example, let's add soft assert. It will be false, will be failing. And 2 plus 3 equals 5. And I will add one more. Soft assert 2 by 3 equals 6. Both assertions will be executed, even though stop on error setting is true. So let's execute this test. Okay, this is the first assertion. This is the second assertion. But there is another action which is called soft assert all, and this is where the result of previous soft assertion is checked. So let's add this section, soft assert all, and let's add 2 messages here. So first message after all checks, and another one will be after soft assert all. Okay, running it right now, and you will see what's happening. So both soft assertions were executed. Then we see this message after all checks, and we don't see anything about after soft assert all. So because at this point, soft assert all checks that if there is any soft assert statement that failed previously, then this is the real error and test execution should be stopped. This is why we don't see this message in the report. But if our assertions are okay, and we'll run our test case, then we should see after soft assert all message in the report. So why soft assertion is needed? So the first scenario is what we can see on the screen right now. If you want to do many checks and do not want to fail immediately on the first failure, then we may use soft assert. So we do all the checks, and after that we call soft assert all. If there are real failures, then the test will stop execution. Another scenario, one we may need this soft assert all if you want to do some cleanup in the case of failed assertion. So imagine that we have a soft assertion and it is failing, and we may check that, and we may do some cleanup, delete some data in our system, and only after that click execute soft assert all statement and fail our test. So this is the soft assert. And if you press F1 on the keyboard, you will see the description of the section in Rapise documentation with all the details. Okay, and the last thing to show is, so sometimes when you're executing your test cases, you may want to attach some test results to the test run in Spire. So before Rapise 7, it was not possible, but now you may use new feature, SES report file, and using it, you may attach files in such actions like tester message, tester assert, and tester assert equal. So let me show how it works. So minimizing it, and let's return to TC multiply, for example. It is passing at the moment, and I will go to RVL, and I'm going to write something to output file here. So the easiest way to do this is to use global set property. Let's use the parameters, and we will dump our values to config output XLSX to Excel file, and let's name the property output value, and let's write 10, for example. So after execution of this statement, we will have output XLSX file in the folder of our test case, and we may now attach it to the test run. So you can do this by using this syntax. So we will use tester and message. So let's write test output as the title for this message. And here I will use the second parameter, data. Its type should be expression, and by default it is expression. And here we will need to use this syntax. New. This is JavaScript. Report file and the name of our file to attach. XLSX. Here we go. And I think I made a typo. should be dot. It looks more clean, I think, if you're using JavaScript. So let me show you how it looks like in JavaScript. So I will paste it somewhere, so you will see how it looks like in JavaScript syntax. So tester message, the title, and then here we are attaching our files. I will comment this line. Okay, let's run this test locally. Okay, and this is the test output. I'm expanding it, and this is the link to our attached file. When we are running locally, we have access to all the files. What's interesting is to run this remotely. So I will save my test case first. Save to Spira. And now I will use such feature of the dashboard as the ability to run just a single test case. So if we will go to test cases, I may expand the action, and I may execute just one test case. So it was not possible with the previous version of the dashboard. So let's execute. And once it is executed, we should see output XLSX file attached to the test run. Go into test runs. Here we go, just executed our test set, expanding it, and here is the link to output Excel file. I may click on it and download it from Spira actually, and open it in another copy of Rapise, which is a default Excel editor on this machine. Okay, so this is our output file that we attach to the test run in Spira. Okay, so these are all big features that I wanted to show in this webinar. I just may say that Rapise 7 was already released, and you may find download links in your customer area at Inflectra. So you may download this version and install on your machines. So thanks again, everyone, for attending this webinar. And I hope to see you in our next webinars. So thanks for attention and have a good day. Bye-bye.